What do you do when you're desperate to move but you just can't sell your house? It's been on the market for months and all the viewings have dried up. Well, what you do is you stop selling and start swapping. House swapping is the latest trend to hit the property world. With around 10,000 properties registered with swap websites, it's a brilliant way to avoid the dreaded property chain and make that move onwards. We'll be meeting people who want to swap their home permanently.
What we'd really like is a garden for Lucy.
And we'll show them 3 properties to find their perfect match.
This is our beautiful 4-bedroomed house.
I hope you enjoyed the tour of my house.
If so, we can swap.
After a day spent road testing each other's properties and lifestyles, we'll bring them to the negotiating table where our straight-talking negotiator, Sunita, will help them thrash out a deal.
Do you feel that it's worth that much, honestly?
Yeah.
Before we find out if they'll swap homes for good. Hello and welcome to Stone in Staffordshire. And if you've never been to Stone, let me tell you about one of its biggest claims to fame. You see, between 1860 and 1901, something remarkable happened here. Something that brought the town national fame and respect. The annual gooseberry show. And it was during this time that the world's largest gooseberry was grown here. But enough of the soft fruit talk. I'm here to meet a family who need a new home because they've grown too big for their old one. Does everything grow big here? Because if it does, quite frankly, well, stone me. Rachel Jones and Kieran Delaney are looking to swap their 3-bed Victorian terrace house in Stone in Staffordshire. They're both teachers, so they need to swap within the local area. And with the arrival of daughter Lucy, they need more space and are looking forward to expanding their home sweet home. And this is the house that Rachel and Kieran feel they've grown too big for. But to be honest with you, from the outside, it doesn't seem to have Lilliputian proportions. In fact, it's got a rather grand period frontage, but I guess it's what lies on the inside. Now, I have the front door keys. This is what's going to happen. You wait out here. I'll dive in, have a little snoop round, come back out and tell you what it's like, all right? No? You want to come with me? You are so nosy already. All right, but come quietly. Right, well, I am sensing that we have stepped straight into a rather sensible and unpretentious home. I like the very understated stained glass detailing in the door, and I love the mint and floor tiles here, so a lot of original details, which I hope will continue into the lounge. And indeed they do. I love the size of this bay window because even though the nets are filtering out an awful lot of the sunlight, this room remains remarkably bright. But what I really love is this great big fireplace here. I love the sinewy and sexy lines that are very characteristic of the arts and crafts movement. The character of this period property spills into the second reception room. Now, in the kitchen, it may not be at the height of modernity, but I think that's exactly why it is so charming, with the lovely kind of stripped pine shelves and this great big Welsh dresser. It really makes you want to set to with a spatula and create a lemon drizzle cake, if only my baking skills were up to it. OK, now out here, not so much a garden, just a courtyard, and it's not a very big one at that. It's perfect for someone the size of him, but on the plus side, of course, it's very low maintenance. Very low indeed. The main bathroom is on the ground floor, but there is an upstairs toilet as well. There's a good-sized guest room. And Rachel and Kieran have lovingly decorated a nursery for little Lucy. OK, here we have the lovely master bedroom. And I tell you what, it's a really good size too, because we've got this giant sleigh bed in here, and yet there is still lots of room to waltz around. But one perceived downside might be that across the road you have a railway line. In fact, speak of the fiery dragon, there goes one now. But I can't stand here all day train spotting. I've got an appointment regarding house swapping. Rachel and Kieran's 3-bedroom Victorian terrace in Stone has been valued at £190,000. OK, so Rachel and Kieran, supporting Lucy there, and Bob Dog's around somewhere. Bob Dog? Excellent. Which kind of leads me to my first question, exactly. Is this the reason why you need more space, just because there is a growing clan of you?
Definitely. What we'd really like is a garden for Lucy, because in a year or so's time, she's really going to want somewhere that she can run around in and play in, and Bob would love to have somewhere as well.
Because originally you just bought this for you and Bob doll.
That was right, yes.
Right.
Yes, and it was plenty big enough.
Right. So there is an option here. We don't do a house swap at all. We just get rid of Kieran. I think it's an interesting idea. So if we were looking, if in your mind's eye you both had the perfect house that you could swap to, what would it be?
Ideally, I think we both like the sort of...
Oldie-worldy.
The charm, the period features.
Yeah.
We're kind of prepared to compromise at the moment on the style, but we'd like a nice garden, reasonable storage, at least 3 bedrooms.
Right.
An off-road parking as well.
Yeah.
Right. What's this on the market for, and what can you swap up to? What value?
This is on the market for 190,000.
Right.
And we're looking really to swap up to 330 to 50.
Right, OK, well, let's go inside. I've got 3 houses I want to show you on the laptop. So should we go inside, get a cup of tea, and start watching?
Yeah,
great. About turn, clan. Okay. Bob Dog, are you coming, or are you staying here? No, he's coming. First of all, I'm going to be taking you to Kingsley. It's about 14 miles from here, about 25 minutes drive.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say to you, Grade 2 listed, with its own barn. What do we think?
Sounds
nice.
Shall I stop talking and just play the film?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Hello, we are Linda and Andy Horvath.
I would like to welcome you to our house.
This house is 350 years old. You can see this is the lounge dining room. And one of the lovely features about the house is this original fireplace, which was actually hidden when we first moved in, so it was a lovely bonus to find it for us. And the beams, original beams. And this is my lovely farmhouse kitchen, which I absolutely love. My husband made all the units, which gives it a nice country feel. And this is the master bedroom, which you can see is very large, unusual for an old house like this. It's got dual aspect windows. And this is the family bathroom, which is very large and spacious. We recently had American friends to stay here, and they absolutely loved this room. It was very oldie-worldy for them, and they loved the village and they loved everything about the house. Very cute. And this is the final bedroom, which again you can see is quite large. We use this for the grandchildren. And then we come to the office. It could also be made into the 4th bedroom.
It's quite a large garden. It's about 2/3 of an acre. And in it is a freestanding barn. It's 18 feet wide and 38 feet long. So it would pass off as a small detached cottage. And then just beyond here is the Staffordshire Way.
Wonderful for anybody that wants to walk or walk the dogs. It's a lovely place. This house is on the market for £425,000.
Linda and Andress's home near Stoke-on-Trent is a Grade 2 listed 2-storey Staffordshire farmhouse with 4 bedrooms, a barn and a large south-facing garden. So, what would they like to swap to?
We're going to be very sorry to leave this house, but we would like to exchange it for somewhere maybe half the size, more manageable, either a very small garden or just a patio, somewhere we could lock up and go abroad for maybe 3 months at a time. That's our lovely house.
And I hope you enjoyed the tour.
OK, a lot to discuss there, and we were making cooing noises all the way through, and it wasn't just Lucy, which is great. What did you make of that?
Well, it had some lovely features, didn't it? The fireplaces, the beams, and the kitchen was lovely as well. Really nice.
What are the downsides?
Off-road parking, where does a car go?
I can tell you, it has a large Not any ordinary drive, cobbled drive. I don't know if that excites you, having a cobbled drive. It would excite me. I get very excited about a cobbled drive. Are you excited about a cobbled drive?
Well, I could be.
Good. OK, the next property we're going to see is owned by Bryn. Houghton, is that an area that rings any bells for you?
Yes, yeah, it's in our area.
Is it?
Yeah.
OK. In 3, in 2, in 1.
Hi, I'm Bryn Jones and welcome to my house. I like this hallway because it's very sort of spacious, newly laid floor, and all the rooms lead off it. And oh look, there's a bird just appeared in the garden there. And that's what I enjoy doing from here. I enjoy sitting and watching the birds. And here we are in my dining room, or what would be the dining room if I didn't work from home and use it as a therapy room. Being a hypnotherapist and putting people into trance all the time, it's a great little room. And here we are in the kitchen. Well, it's a kitchen diner, really. It's a lovely, spacious place. And it takes me back, actually, to why I bought this house in the first place. I bought it because it kept coming into my life. I believe that the universe was telling me this was where I had to move to. Whoever wants to buy this house, whoever wants to swap with me, probably the universe is telling them that this is the house that they need to take. And here we are coming into what I use as a study. However, it could be used as a guest room or a single bedroom. And this is what should be a double bedroom, because I now use it as a music room. This is the room with the best view in the house. And here we are now in the master bedroom. It's big, it's spacious, it's got built-in wardrobes, and it's got the ensuite. As you'll see, the garden is fully enclosed, fenced all around with a gate at the side, so it's great for keeping children in or even animals in. What I really love about this house, and what I think you would really love about this house, is its location. And just 5 minutes from my house is this lovely walk. It's converted out of an old railway line and stretches, I believe, for 65 kilometres. It's just a lovely place to come and wander along. This house is currently on the market at $279,950.
Bryn's house is a modern, low-maintenance 4-bed in Hton in Staffordshire with plenty of outdoor space. So, what's his ideal swap?
My needs are very simple. I just want to move to somewhere smaller, but with a similar sort of location. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tour of my house. Thank you for looking around with me, and I hope to see you soon.
I've got to ask you this because I'm sure everyone at home is dying to know. Bryn bought that house because the universe was telling him to buy that house. Are you feeling the universe is telling you to swap with that house? You feeling any kind of strange...
I've not had the call anyway yet.
I can't feel anything at the moment.
No.
Nothing yet? The thing we've got to think about here, though, of course, is also finances, because this is a lot cheaper than the last one.
Yes. Yeah, and that's something to take into consideration, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah.
The next property is in stone.
Right.
And obviously, living in stone, you don't really need me to tell you about stone, do you? Not really,
Not really, no.
Are we ready?
OK.
Let's see it.
Hi, I'm Jan. This is my daughter Kat. This is our beautiful 4-bedroomed house. OK, this is the entrance to our lovely home, and this is Toby, our dog. This is the kitchen. When I came to buy the house, I really liked this because it was all newly fitted. And then you go through into a lovely large utility room, which again's been fabulous for our dog Toby. It's really nice to have a separate dining room. Quite a few houses don't have that these days. And here we're going into the living room.
This is my favourite room because I get to play on the way and watch TV, which is good. So this is the garage where I keep my drums and annoy all the neighbours playing them. Up here we've got got 4 good-sized bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, but I'll show you my room first and you can wait out here. When we moved in, I chose this room because it's bigger than my brother's.
Yes, it normally doesn't look like this at all. Just down the corridor is the master bedroom. I love this room because it has these fabulous triple mirrored wardrobes. It's also got a lovely ensuite. It's large with a power shower. Oh, we've saved the best till last, and here's our lovely garden. It's a nice flat area for both the animals and the children to play. In the summer, my daughter Kat brings a trampoline out. My dog likes to play, although he's a little bit old now. Usually likes to chase a ball. Probably not today. No. Our current property has been valued at £395,000.
Jan's 4-bed detached property in Stone comes with a double garage and a child and dog-friendly garden. So what does she want for her swap?
Originally, a few years ago, we were all considering as a family to go over to New Zealand. Very sadly and very suddenly, my husband died and our plans had to change. We're now reassessing our plans and we're now actually looking to go to Australia. Ideally, in a swap, I'm actually looking for a smaller property now, which will help me to release some equity from this property so that we can go abroad. Then I would probably look to rent out whatever property we swapped for.
Thanks for coming to see our lovely home.
We hope you love it as much as we do and that you'd like to swap with us.
Right, OK. Again, what do we think?
Seemed to have a lot of the things that we're after. It ticks quite a few of our boxes.
Yeah, the garden, for me, and for Bob Dog, I think would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd love that.
He'd love that, yeah.
Rolling in the grass.
OK, I'm going to use some time to think about which one you'd like to do a temporary swap with. I won't sit here, because I think 3's a crowd. In fact, 4... Fine. It's a big crowd already. I'm going to disappear, and I will see you later on.
OK.
All right?
OK, thank you very much.
It was a small cul-de-sac, I think, rather than estate, but the houses...
Well, myself and Bob Dog... You coming? Marvellous. Myself and Bob Dog are leaving them to it because there's a lot of chatter going on in there. But it's quite interesting because I think at the start of it all, they were so convinced they wanted period-style living, and yet by the end, property number 3, the long driveway, the large garden, I think they were coming round to the idea of modern living. And, of course, the third one was in a great location for them. They live in Stone, they know Stone, they love Stone. If it was down to Bob Dog, I know what he'd want. You don't want the fluffy duck. You want the Grade 2 listed property, don't you? Well, have it then, if that's what you want. Whilst Rachel and Kieran weigh up the pros and cons, Sunita, our house swap negotiator, has some advice. Sunita's been a property negotiator for over 10 years, helping hundreds of clients move onwards and upwards.
If you want to move house quickly, then house swapping could be the answer. Now, there are several websites out there that could help you find your perfect match. You will, of course, still have to have a HIPS report and you will be paying stamp duty. But, crucially, you get to avoid a chain, and if you're not on with an estate agent, you avoid estate agent fees.
Sunita's invaluable knowledge will help our swappers negotiate a deal. But first we need to find out who Rachel and Kieran have decided to swap with. Alrighty then, right, laptop begone. How was your chat? Good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
And we agreed.
Ah, that's nice. That's what we want to hear. So, well, I guess there's no point beating around the bush. Which one have you gone for? 1, 2 or 3?
Number 3.
So why not the period property that you asked for to begin with?
I think it looked wonderful. Really liked it and liked a lot of the features. The garden, again, was lovely, but almost perhaps a little bit too ambitious.
Price-wise as well, we've had to compromise on, because that's the sort of house we'd like, but maybe later down the line again.
How excited are you about that third house?
I'm quite excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. I like the garden. I like where it is in Stone. I like the front room, the lounge area. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
It's time to swap homes for the day. Teachers Rachel and Kieran want more space, but need to stay local for work, so they've travelled exactly 1 mile away to the other side of Stone to road test Jan's 4-bed detached house. While Jan's spending the day at their 3-bed Victorian home to check out its rental potential to help with her planned move to Oz.
Oh, I presume it's this one here.
Before they decide if a permanent swap is feasible.
Whoa.
Look at the drive.
Yeah, that's a fair old drive, that.
How many cars could you fit on there?
17. Yeah, it's a lovely front. Ah, that's a great carriage, that is. That's exactly what we need, I reckon.
You in the garages.
So that's a tick then.
See the garage we're looking at in a minute.
No, look now, we're here.
Nothing can come between a man and his outbuildings.
Oh, there's a drum kit.
Oh, of course. Ah, right, that's ideal, isn't it?
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's loads of space there.
Next stop, the kitchen.
Right, so I'm quite keen to have a look in here.
There's a lot more storage than our kitchen.
Apparently.
Yeah, and those drawers look lovely. Yeah, that's...
It's not quite as big as I would have liked for a kitchen. Although for us, we could easily sit at that table and put Lucy at the end in a high chair, couldn't we?
Yes, yeah, that's true.
I mean, they've got the utility room here, which is great because you've got all your... I mean, this is really good, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's the place for the dog.
So we're off to a flying start for Kieran and Rachel on one side of Stone. But will their home be satisfactory for Jan and her 4-legged friend?
Well, here we are, Toby. Garden at the front. In the lounge, fine, just somewhere for 3 of us to sit and watch the TV, and that would be absolutely fine for me in here. My parents did have a house in Stone once before, very near here, so I'm sort of used to the type of houses, and I did really like that house at the time. Oh yeah, and a doggy basket, yeah. It's okay. It's got quite a nice feel to it, I think. Not room for my big dog basket here, though. Where could he go? Ah, outside. It's a voyage of adventure, this, isn't it, really? Ah, yes. This is how we get out, yeah. This would be good for a rental property because a lot of people want something that's low maintenance.
Meanwhile, Jan's garden back home is proving the grass is definitely greener on the other side of Stone.
What do you think, Luce? Would you like to play in here? Can you imagine a little paddling pool? Some swings?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you enjoying the grass, fella? I think Bob Dog's very happy, eh? He's got his stick with him to keep himself entertained. Come on, good luck.
Back inside, it's up the apples and pears.
What do you think? It's plenty big enough, isn't it? Yeah.
So that's another room. So, look, Lucy. Look at that. That's just a big Lucy. This is nice. Ensuite.
Ensuite. Yeah, that's spot on, isn't it?
She did say she really liked her mirrored wardrobes, and I don't really like mirrored wardrobes.
Yeah.
And she might miss having an ensuite.
Not necessarily.
I've had a house that I rented once with a downstairs bathroom. Doesn't worry me. You know, nice space, actually. Definitely Mum has to have the biggest room. Yeah, it doesn't matter that I'm not the biggest person anymore, I get the biggest room. Ah, this is the baby's room. It would probably end up that my poor son would end up with the small bedroom, because Catherine always gets the big room. She always bags that one for herself. Although I have to say, If you look to the colours of the walls, then Catherine should have this because it's pink, isn't it, for a girl?
Right on cue, Jan's daughter Catherine stopped by after school for a quick peek round.
Hi, Cat. Right, I've already had a look round this house earlier on, so you can have a look and see what you think now.
So, what's her verdict?
Where am I meant to put my drum kit?
Now that is a question, isn't it? If we put the drum kit in here, it would take the place up, wouldn't it? There'd be no room for anything else.
Back on the other side of town, Rachel and Kieran's potential house swap will mean being an extra half a mile from their usual shops. But on the plus side, there's a local nursery on the doorstep.
Hi. Hello, Lucy. How are you?
Perfect for Lucy when Rachel goes back to work. Meanwhile, Jan's checking out what lies on her potential new doorstep. But she's quickly stopped in her tracks.
It's lucky none of us have sleep problems then, quite noisy. And I've just realised how fast they go.
With such noisy neighbours, is the railway a potential deal breaker?
I was just wondering how often the trains run.
They run on the hour, just after the hour.
Oh, right. Do trains run through the night? And
They do, but to give you an idea, I live above the station.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I'm fine.
With the noise issues silenced, it's time for Jan to find some local fun, and the local pub is a stone's throw away.
I'm just looking at a property across the road and just getting an idea of what's going on in the area. This property I'm looking at, I'm thinking of maybe renting it out at some stage. So,
oh right, well, my partner's an estate agent. Do you want me to phone him for you? I can ask him what the rental opportunity is on this.
That'd be really, really brilliant.
Okay, oh, hello, it's me. I've just a quick question for you. You're talking a 3-bedroom terrace house along the main road. What sort of rental are you talking for someone like that?
You're going to be looking of a rental figure of around about £500 per calendar month, I would say.
Okay, yes.
Or possibly a little bit more if the interior is really nice.
Thanks very much, that's great.
You're very welcome.
And she never even got a pint. So as the one-day swap draws to a close, is a permanent swap on the cards?
Yeah, it's all right. It's nice. I like the old-fashioned stuff.
Things I've got to consider. Whether we could cope with the space, putting some stuff into store. We talked about the rental, so that's useful to know as a potential for the future.
I like the fact we've got a great off-road parking, so there's a great drive and a great double garage and a garden as well.
We will be really interested to see what she's got to say.
Always interesting to hear what they say about the house.
Having swapped homes and lifestyles for a day, there's a lot for everyone to consider. Have Rachel, Kieran and Jan been convinced to make a swap for good? So our swap day in Stone is now over and no stone was left unturned, but this is where things could get a bit rocky when they reveal what they really thought of each other's homes. Will Rachel and Kieran be all granite-faced about the lack of period details? And will Jan be able to squeeze Kat's drum kit into that dining room so she can become a real Rolling Stone? It's time to call in our straight-talking property negotiator. Sunita Shroff has been helping people find their dream properties and agree the best price for them for over 10 years. She'll be using her expertise to negotiate a deal for our swappers.
Negotiating can be a tricky and even emotional process, and the properties won't necessarily be valued at the same price. So it's my job to get both sides to agree on a fair and realistic price to swap. But house swapping isn't all about the money. It's about avoiding that awful chain, potentially avoiding the estate agent's fees, and of course of months of your property being on the market. So if both sides are prepared to negotiate, they could walk away with a great deal.
So let's remind ourselves of what Sunita has to bargain with. Rachel and Kieran have their 3-bed terrace in stone valued at £190,000, with the option to extend their budget, plus those fabulous traditional features and an easy-to-maintain garden. They want a local swap with more storage and a bigger garden for little Lucy and Bob Dog. Jan has her modern 4-bed detached home valued at £395,000. She's keen to release equity for her dream move to Australia and secure a rental investment. So, first things first, what's the feedback?
Now, your house is absolutely charming, but you're clearly outgrowing it, so you need to find something a little bit bigger. And you road tested something bigger, didn't you?
We did, yes.
So, what were the pros, Rachel?
The garden, the size of the garden, it was perfect, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was a very safe garden as well, so it was a sort of place where you could let the baby play and you could feel happy that she would be out there on her own.
And good storage, good space?
Very much so, yeah. A good, nice sweeping drive and a large double garage.
And on the downside?
Upstairs was a little bit disappointing. We're rather spoilt with our house, is that we do have a lot of period features.
For the price of the property as well, we just felt that we'd have expected a wow within the room, within the house somewhere. We do like the character of our house, and I think that's something we're compromising for a short time, and then later on.
Compromise.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it when you say it first. Yes. That's key to all negotiations today. You've got to be prepared to compromise.
Yes, yeah.
OK, so Jan, what would you say the pros were?
It's a nice old house with lots of features in period keeping. The kitchen wasn't too bad a size and the bathroom was a reasonable size as well.
What about the negatives? Were there any?
One, the problem was we had to try and get Catherine's drums in somewhere.
Are these drums, have got to go with you? Are they part of the family?
If we were to live in it, the drums have to come with us. And I also thought there are steps going up to the front of the house. Now, for everybody else, that's fine, but my dog wouldn't get up them. Honestly, he's got to that point. So
when you're putting your property into the rental market, it's
different.
It's completely different.
Yeah.
Because, again, people rent as a temporary measure, so they compromise.
Aspects, yeah.
But I think it's quite a good rental investment.
Yeah.
But we'll go on to that in a moment. Now, Rachel and Kieran's property is on the market for £190,000. Bearing all of that in mind, the pros and the cons, what did you think the value of their property was?
I would think maybe more around the 175 to 180 type mark, maybe.
I've done my research, looked about, and I think 180,000 is quite fair. Now, I'm going to go back to them and give them that feedback and find out what value they will place on your property, Jan. OK? I'll see you shortly.
Yeah.
Here she comes, my very own news service. Sunita, what's the headlines?
Well, now, Jan initially was looking at a house swap as a temporary measure and potentially as a rental investment.
Right.
But she seems to be a little bit too emotional about it all, and she's thinking about if she lived here, what would she do, this, that and the other.
Yeah, but surely it's all about, in the end game is to go to Australia.
It is indeed, absolutely.
So what are the problems?
Drum kit and dog.
Well, the drum kit goes to Australia. The dog, well, what can I say? Toby or not Toby? Oh. See you later.
As far as the value of your property goes, it's on the market at £190,000, and Jan feels that it's worth £180,000.
Right, OK.
So that's not too horrendous.
No, that's fair, yeah. That's good.
Mm-hmm. Jan's property is on the market at £390,000. What do you think it's worth?
Right. We were thinking around 325, 330 is what we're prepared. Is kind of our top end for us.
Just write that down.
It's eye-popping. I know.
So there's that 60,000 gap now that I need to try and...
Work through.
Yeah.
Just an hour into the negotiation and we've hit a stumbling block. Rachel and Kieran think a fair deal would be their house plus just £150,000 for Jan's home. But Jan thinks a fair swap is Rachel and Kieran's house plus £210,000. That's a massive gap of £60,000.
Before I actually tell you what they thought your property was worth, because it's on at 395,000.
Yeah.
Do you feel that it's worth that much? Honestly.
Yeah.
They feel that it should be 330,000.
Well, I would keep the house forever. I would never, ever sell it at anything like 330, not in 100 million years. I could go for sort of 370 plus.
What I'm saying to you is this is what they feel they'd want to start negotiations at. They're not necessarily saying, right, Jan's house is only worth 330,000, but we've got to start off somewhere. It's finding that middle ground now. It's on the market at 395, but you may take 370, let's say.
Yeah.
Would that potentially work?
Yeah.
You'd still walk away with £190,000. And their property, which you can rent out for 600 a month.
500, he said.
Because you spoke to an agent, didn't you? Yeah.
On the phone.
I did get it actually valued by agents that had seen it. And I feel it's worth 550 to 6.
Where are we up to now?
I went to Jan and I said, look, Rachel and Kieran feel that they would be happy to pay £330,000.
Right.
Now, Jan's property is on the market at £395,000, so Jan was really not happy about that.
Okay.
But anyway, Jan feels that she would be happy to accept £370,000 for her property.
Okay.
So what Rachel and Kieran would do is give their property plus £190,000.
Right.
That would then free her up
Yep.
to do exactly what she wants.
So she gets the equity, she can go off, she can have a base here in the UK and start her life abroad.
Yeah. Let's see what Rachel and Kieran think,
Okay.
if I can get them up.
All right, do your best.
I'm sure you're dying to know how Jan reacted.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
I explained that you had put £330,000 on the table, making the price difference between your property and her property £150,000. Jan said no. So, of course, it was then left to find out what Jan would accept. And she feels that a fair differential between your property and her property would be £190,000. So you feel it's £150,000. That's your initial offer anyway.
Yeah.
And she feels it's £190,000. So it means you giving her your house plus £190,000 in exchange for her house.
The extra 40 on top is quite a lot still.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I think that's a little bit high anyway, but I think if we said £180,000 plus your property and swap with Jan's property, we could potentially have a house swap.
Right, okay. Ever the diplomat, Sunita has come up with a new figure. Rachel and Kieran's house plus £180,000 in exchange for Jan's home. But will either side be tempted by her suggestion?
Now, I went back to Rachel and Kieran with your offer of £190,000, that you felt that was a fair differential. What I've put to them, which I'm also going to put to you, is how about we knock £10,000 off from your end.
Yeah.
And we say, OK, £180,000 plus their house to swap for your property.
OK, well, that's obviously better than it was. But, you know, I'd still need to think about it and all the pros and cons, really.
All right, you think about it.
I will.
So, after 5 hours of tense negotiation, we finally have a deal on the table. Rachel and Kieran's house plus £180,000 in exchange for Jan's home. It reflects what Sunita feels is a fair compromise. But ultimately, it comes down to how much they'll compromise. Has she managed to sell them on the merits of house swapping? You're holding large golden keys. Now, either because you have giant front doors or because we're about to find out if you're going to do a house swap.
Yeah.
I hope it's the latter. On the count of 3, I want you to turn them over and reveal if we've got a swap or a not swap. 1, 2, 3. It's a not there. And it's a not there. Right, well, I know what that means. That means a not swap. I'm a genius. What went wrong? What are the issues, do you think?
Just at this moment for me, sort of price-wise, I'm just not in that...
In that ballpark?
In that ballpark just at the moment.
Right.
But who knows, you know, I mean, in 3 or 4 months' time, if I'm definitely going to Australia, you know, you never know, there might be negotiations still to make. Yeah.
All righty, what about you guys?
I think that's a fair comment, really. It's agreeing on a price, and both of us are in different positions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So today, that's not something we've been able to do.
So for today, it's a red key, but maybe further down the line, it could be a green key.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility, you know, who knows, you know.
All right, and for comedy value, do take these home and see if they will open your front door. Just out of curiosity.
There is a possible potential we may actually get to a deal in a few months' time anyway, if either of us still on the market, and who knows, by then I might have changed my mind on the finance side.
I think the process of the house swap probably has helped us a lot to open our minds to houses that perhaps we wouldn't have looked at in the past.
Well, I guess swapping houses is a big decision, and it takes a lot of courage. And courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage can be a little voice at the end of the day that says, I'll try again tomorrow. So join me next time on House Swap. What do you do when you're desperate to move but you just can't sell your house? It's been on the market for months and all the viewings have dried up. Well, what you do is you stop selling and start swapping. House swapping is the latest trend to hit the property world. With around 10,000 properties registered with swap websites, it's a brilliant way to avoid the dreaded property chain and make that move onwards. We'll be meeting people who want to swap their home permanently, and we'll show them 3 properties to find their perfect match.
Welcome to our house.
Let us show you around our beautiful 17th century barn.
Thank you very much for being with us, and we'll hope to see you again.
When you said renovation, I wasn't convinced.
I'm glad you're laughing. After a day spent road testing each other's properties and lifestyles, we'll bring them to the negotiating table where our straight-talking negotiator, Sunita, will help them thrash out a deal.
House swapping isn't all about money, it's about placing a value on a home.
Before we find out if they'll swap homes for good. Hello and welcome to the glorious countryside of Somerset. But I'm not just in any old place, oh no. I'm in the award-winning village of South Peverton. And on the award theme, a local pub around the corner has just been awarded Best Real Ale, and more awards yet to come. The award for Best Presenter of this episode of House Swap wearing a pink tie goes to, fingers crossed, goes to... It's not me, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Kristen, pick yourself up, dust yourself down and cheer yourself up with the thought that we're about to meet a family who want to do a house swap. Marvellous. But I'm the only one wearing a pink tie. Despite living in perfect harmony in their lovely Somerset home, Melody and Jonathan Dean and their family of budding musicians are desperate to swap homes. Daughter Christina is studying 140 miles away at the Purcell School of Music in Bushey, Hertfordshire, and Katie and Matthew are soon to follow. So the Deans need to orchestrate a move closer to the school to keep the family together.
There's music!
So that was Jonathan and Melody, and this is the beautiful barn conversion they want to swap. In fact, I say barn conversion, but originally it was a pigsty. So as I've got the key to the front door in my hand, let's hope things have changed a little on the inside since then. Right, well, first of all, we step into this very intriguing space, and it would seem that nothing says welcome better than an albino chinchilla. But small, fluffy mammals aside, we've got these French doors that you can fling open into the garden. And then we have a stable door. Where does this lead? We're all thinking stable, aren't we? We're all thinking stable, and it is a kitchen. And it's a kitchen that does not have any delusions of grandeur. It's just trying to be a hard-working family kitchen, and that's exactly what it is. Down the hallway is the music room cum study, which leads through to another reception room. I think I need a little bit more practice, but I tell you what's exciting is the fact we have a grand piano in this lovely room. It's quite hard to imagine that this was once home to lots of little piggies. Well, I've been mooching around a lot of the upstairs, and so far I've discovered 3 good-sized kids' bedrooms, which is perfect if you've got a family. There's also a family bathroom down there with a white corner tub, but I have to say that, of course, this house is decorated in the country style, so therefore, if you're phobic of floral patterns, you may find yourself developing a nervous disposition. OK, so down here we've got a lot of built-in storage. We've also got not just any old ensuite, we've got a spa bath ensuite. And now we plough into the, well, the master bedroom. And it may need, again, a little bit of decor, but take a look at that. My goodness me, that really is a beautiful instrument, isn't it? Do you know I actually play a little cello myself? Yeah, do you know how many years I've had that in my pocket waiting to do that very gag? Wasn't really worth it, was it? In terms of outside space, you've got this very polite and genteel garden, and then over there, you've got your very own paddock, which you have to access by going kind of along the road and down a little lane, but it's just there. Quite a big chunk of land, you've got fruit trees, you could probably have goats in there, or chickens or something. Quite the rural idyll. The Dean's 5-bedroom barn conversion has been valued at £445,000, with an additional £30,000 for the paddock. So it's time to meet the family, and today it's extra special as it's Matthew's 9th birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Hey! Excellent. So, guys, let's talk business, so to speak. This lovely little idyll you've got here, why is it you're wanting to kind of leave it? Why?
It's really for the music. Christina went to the South School 18 months ago.
Right.
We decided that we'd move, and,
yeah.
And so the house has been on the market.
Okay.
And now Matthew will actually be auditioning at the end of April.
That's
as well.
if he gets over the cake.
If he gets over
That's if he
the
gets
cake.
over the cake. What else do we play?
Piano, violin, saxophone now.
And what else do you do, though?
Composing as well.
Really? You're 9 today, Matthew, and you're a composer. I think Mozart, he was only about 8 or 9, wasn't he, when he composed his first concerto?
5. Symphony.
How old was he?
Wait.
8.
Symphony.
He was 8.
But he composed Twinkle Twinkle Little Star when he was 5, I think.
So you're a little bit behind Mozart. A little bit behind Mozart.
Well,
but not
he's
far.
no,
I have
actually,
done symphony.
He's writing symphony.
He's done a symphony, I tell you. He's done a what?
It started as a bet, actually.
Oh, my goodness me. So what is it, then, that you would like to swap with? What is it we're looking for?
At the moment, I spend about 12 hours driving around Somerset for music tuition a week. So, I mean, more than anything, it needs to be fairly close to school.
Finance-wise, what are we talking? How much can you swap up to?
In the region of 500, isn't it? But that's...
In the region of 500 is what you're looking for. What about, dare I say, Jonathan, if it needed a bit of work?
Rather not.
Rather not. OK, I think we've covered all bases. We've got 2 things that need to be achieved now. We need to eat the cake, and we also need to view
need to eat the cake.
3 houses. How about combining the art of cake eating and viewing houses?
Why not?
Shall we do it?
Shall we?
Bring the cake, Matthew. Let's do it. Come on. Come on, bring the cake. For our first home movie, we are going... Now, tell me how you feel about this Farnum. Be honest.
I don't even know where it is.
Good, that's a good start. At least you're being very honest. Well, from Bushy, it's about 50 miles. I want you to meet the wonderfully named Ali McNally.
I'm Ali McNally, and I'm going to show you my beautiful 4 double-bedroomed house here in Farnum. When I first bought this property, I was thinking, well, I'll live here. It's just such a beautiful location, and the house itself suits me down to the ground. But then something happened. I got engaged, and situations change, and this house, to be honest, I don't need it anymore. This is the entrance hall. It's an incredible space, and I think it's just waiting for somebody to put some wonderful artwork on the walls. I love this room. It's got a wonderful sense of light about it, with windows on both sides. Coming up here, it leads very nicely into a dining area. Right next door, as so many people want these days, is the kitchen. Interestingly, this house has a couple of bedrooms downstairs. This bedroom here is a good-sized double, and it has a built-in wardrobe. It's all been done to the highest standards. This is the downstairs bathroom. And this is the largest of the 4 bedrooms. It's huge. Whenever my fiancé comes round and helps in the garden or whatever, he always wants to move in. He thinks this is a lovely house in a lovely position in a great area, and he's absolutely right. Farnum is a very attractive little town. Full of historical buildings, wonderful pubs and restaurants. Behind us here we have the nature reserve, wonderful walks through there. This property here has been valued at £399,950.
Ali's home is a recently modernised detached 4-bedroom property in Farnham, 50 miles from the music school in Bushy. So, what is her ideal swap?
I already own a holiday home in Sidmouth in Devon that I let out for holidaymakers. It would be ideal for me to have a second property in the West Country that I could do the same thing with. A house swap with something in the West Country would be perfection.
So in terms of space, I think the house was all right.
Yeah, probably 2 open plan. Downstairs.
Open plan, with the kitchen and the lounge.
Yeah.
Are you implying that their music sounds terrible? That's what,
No,
that's what Mum's saying. That's what Mum's saying.
4 of us are practising.
There's 4 of us. We need 4 rooms.
I've got a solution. Practice the same piece at the same time. You're just not thinking as a group here. So, Jonathan, you don't object to the house as such?
I don't object to the house. I think the location's probably not what we're after.
Right. Well, let's think about that property. And we're going off now somewhere else. We're going to see quite an exciting property. It's in Cotarid, 36 miles to Bushy.
Right.
I want you to meet Bernard and Debbie and their lovely property.
Hello, I'm Debbie,
And I'm Bernard.
and let us show you around our beautiful 17th century barn. Well, we actually live in a converted barn next door, which we have done for 15 years. This barn, we wanted it to be a modern family home with up-to-date amenities, but obviously still retain the facade of been living in a 16th century barn. The fire is more supplementary because it's such a warm space with the underfloor heating, but on a cold winter's night it's really, really nice.
This is the first of 2 double bedrooms downstairs. There's another one upstairs. All the double bedrooms have ensuite facilities.
There's a really nice ensuite as well to this room, and obviously a really nice mirror if you spend quite a bit of time, which I don't, in front of the mirror. It's a good size adaptable room can be used as a bedroom or office space or actually anything that you feel you wanted it. Another nice feature, if you'd just like to follow me out here, is this Juliet style balcony. You can see right across the barn, across the kitchen, and obviously look down to your loved ones.
Debbie, where for art?
Very romantic. One of the best things about the property is the garden and the view out the front.
We're situated on the edge of the village of Cotarid. It's out in the country, but you've still got easy access to the A1M, the A10, the nearest mainline station being Stevenage. If you've got a fast train within 17 minutes, you're in King's Cross. So.
It's just a very nice spot in Hertfordshire.
The house at the moment is valued at a guide price of £565,000.
Bernard and Debbie's house is a 17th century barn conversion with 3 bedrooms and an acre of land, 36 miles from Bushy. So what would they like to swap to?
We're looking to swap because we have a boat that we spend a considerable amount of time at, and we've often thought to have property on the south coast would be a perfect scenario for us.
It was beautiful, wasn't it? There's no getting away from it. It's a beautiful, beautiful building. You would still have the scenery, the peace and quiet, the space. But to have that, of course, there are compromises. And when we were watching, I noticed you said straight away, there's only 3 bedrooms.
Yes. You can have a tent.
So that could be an interesting issue, couldn't it?
Probably be blood after a few months.
Right, this isn't going the way we wanted it, is it? Something you didn't see there is the potential to convert over the garage. So that would solve the bedroom situation. OK, now how do I break this news to you about the next home movie?
Super modern.
Super modern.
Oh,
no?
Well...
Complete wreck.
Oh, my goodness me. It's so modern...
It's not finished yet.
The point goes to the man in the corner.
Hi, I'm Andy, and this is my daughter Catherine, and welcome to our big house. Welcome to the Willow, substantial 5-bedroom house. It's not for the faint-hearted, and we need imagination. So you walk in through the hallway, again to the left of it is the massive space, the sitting room here.
Which is that one there?
Which is that one there, yeah, with the bay window there. It's a really nice, substantial size. You've got the Ingenook fireplace over there. Here we have the staircase, and behind the staircase will be a downstairs toilet. Right, from the main hallway, we've got this substantial sized breakfast room. From the breakfast room, you end up into the conservatory area, which is bright and airy and a really nice place to sit and have breakfast. The other room here to the right is your kitchen, but I think for someone to sort of design this kitchen, be practical as well, for a woman to work within this area, you know, because at the end of the day, the kitchen belongs to the woman anyway.
Don't believe women should be in the kitchen, or...
I didn't mean it like that. It sounded a bit negative. I didn't mean it like that. We're up at the staircase, first floor. To the right here, master bedroom. To the left, we've got a walk-in wardrobe.
Excellent. Can never have enough shoes.
I know.
I think all women will agree with that.
The energies have been driven out of us to complete the project. Otherwise, I'd love to finish this project. This project is superb. Obviously, anybody taking this project on will have to be aware of the planning issues that are outstanding at the moment. The roof would need to be dropped about 8 inches on the ridge down, and then on the eaves about 6 courses in order to comply with the existing planning permission. We're anticipating the market value for this property to be around the £425,000 mark. We estimate that to finish this project will cost between £80,000 and £100,000.
Andy's property is a detached, unfinished new build with 5 bedrooms, 4 reception rooms, and the biggest plus point, it's just 11 miles away from the music school. So what does he want for his swap?
My ideal swap for this house would have to be a house of similar size. I will not be planning to live in the swap house, no. We would be looking to resell the property in due course. Thank you very much for being with us, and we'll hope to see you again.
When you said renovation, I wasn't quite expecting.
Well, I'm glad you're laughing. Well, look.
I go mad. Interesting.
I don't like it.
Why don't you like it, Katie?
It's
It's got no floor.
Has it got any flaws? That's a very good
You're
reason
so
for
picky.
for not liking a house. It's a very interesting proposition. It is a humongous family home. The location is in Hemel Hempstead, which is just 11 miles from Bushy.
And on the right train line.
And on the very good train
I
line.
recognise the scenery.
Good. So it's ticking a lot of boxes already. So would you be brave enough to take on a project that needs to be finished? What I'm going to do is I'm going to disappear outside and just give you a few minutes to think about which one maybe you'd like to see in the flesh, and then I'll return.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
I think Jonathan and Melody have got some very tough decisions to make because they've been looking to move now for 2 years. And because the kids are getting older, things are now starting to get rather critical. And the situation is, and let's be honest about it, they know this as well, because they're an unusual family with unusual wants, finding the perfect house is probably going to be impossible because it probably doesn't exist. It's going to be about compromising. So therefore, out of the 3 houses they've just seen, I have no idea about which one they'd like to see more of.
It's not on the right train line. And I'm not driving that many miles.
Whilst the Dean family mull over our property medley and decide which best suits a move closer to the music school, Sunita, our house swap negotiator, has some advice. Sunita's been a property negotiator for over 10 years, helping hundreds of clients move onwards and upwards.
If you want to move house quickly, then house swapping could be the answer. Now, there are several websites out there that could help you find your perfect match. You will, of course, still have to have a HIPS report and you will be paying stamp duty. But, crucially, you get to avoid a chain, and if you're not on with an estate agent, you avoid estate agent fees.
Sunita's invaluable knowledge will help our swappers negotiate a deal. But first, we need to find out who the Deans have decided to swap with. OK, have you decided? Otherwise, I'll go back in the garden.
We have.
You've made a decision? And was it a collective decision? Do we all agree?
I think so. Nearly. Matthew and Katie might not quite have agreed, but...
All right, OK, what is the decision?
We're going to go for
Number 3.
Number 3, running Hemel.
The half-built house?
The major
Are you all
wildcard.
mad?
Yes.
Who would have guessed?
I think it was the location that swung it.
And the potential size there. Yeah. It's time to swap homes for the day. The Dean family are off to explore the unfinished new build in Hemel Hempstead, whilst Andy and his daughter Catherine head south to the barn conversion in sunny Somerset. Both families have the chance to exchange lifestyles for the day before they decide if a permanent swap is on the cards. The new build house is in Hemel Hempstead, a commuter town situated just northwest of the capital. Only 11 miles from the children's music school, it's spot on in terms of location. But how will the Dean family react to the scale of the project?
There it is. It's huge. It's huge. It's bigger than it looked, isn't it? It's far more intact than I expected.
It has half a roof.
It has half a roof.
140 miles southwest, Andy and Catherine have arrived at the Somerset barn.
Very nice.
Very cottagey.
This swap is an opportunity for Andy to move on from his unfinished house build. Will the Somerset property be just another investment, or will the country way of life win Andy over?
Ah, look, got rabbit. Rabbit, rabbit.
Oh, it doesn't look like a rabbit.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Strange.
Ah.
That's because that rabbit is a chinchilla.
Look, talk about hospitality. got biscuits laid on for us as well.
Good sized kitchen.
What do you think of the colour scheme?
It's not what I would have.
Okay.
But I can't get it fits in with the style of the house, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Somebody plays the violin. Somebody plays the saxophone as well.
My favourite instrument.
Yeah, if it's played well.
Here's a timeless rendition of The Sound of Silence. With the odd little squeak. More instruments, I feel. And now time for the accordion.
Make a musician out of you yet.
And according to me, she shouldn't be playing it.
That's beautiful.
Ah, the piano. Maybe we do have a little star here.
So be so.
That's sad.
Whoa!
I'm trying to become like the next Alicia Keys.
Well, I'm guessing Alicia knows how to use the keys. Back in Hemel Hempstead, with the children playing safely outside, Melody and Jonathan don hard hats and see if they can find a home for the most important member of the family.
One piano. Right.
It's easy when there's no door.
It is easy when there's no door.
The test.
So, I mean, it's not going to be a problem coming through here, is it? You've got to keep it straight.
Jonathan, it's not a real piano, it's only pretend. There you go, see, no problem. We're going to go this way now.
You've just taken the gloss off
I'm
it.
going to the sunshine.
It looks quite small in the room, actually.
It does look very small, which is really good news. If it had a roof and it was finished, it would just tick every single box.
But it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
And it isn't.
No.
Oh, some people want the moon on a stick, don't they? Meanwhile, Andy is taking to the house in Somerset.
Hey, look at this, another bathroom up here. Ah, this must be master bedroom.
Okay, so I'm assuming this is the games room.
Get up there, go on, get up there. What are you doing? Get up there. Ah, there you go, lost in the end. It's just too much. It's fantastic.
And now all our pinball wizard wants is a cup of tea.
How's it possible that a woman knows where the cups are straight away? I can't believe that. How did you know where they were?
I don't know, well, common sense, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
The logic of a woman.
Yeah, it's quite cosy here.
Yeah, I like it. There's a nice feel to it, isn't it? It's happy.
But it's a family home.
Yeah.
You know?
There's no chance of a tea break in Hemel Hempstead because there's no kitchen, never mind a kettle. So it's back to business, and we've sent round local builder Mick to discuss the problem of the roof. The house build came to a standstill because Andy built the roof 18 inches higher than the planning permission allowed. The council are insisting that the brickwork is lower to comply with the original plans. So it's time to work out how to alter the roof to the correct specification.
The most cost-effective way of dealing with this is to get planning permission and building regs to actually put a flat roof detail along the whole of the centre of that ridge.
Yeah,
you know.
and then get up there with a chainsaw.
Yeah, I mean, there's no comparison whatsoever with lowering the brickwork.
No, well, you
throughout the
can't do that, can you?
Well, you could, but
you have to lower this as
You
well.
could.
Exactly, it just has
It's
too
huge.
many implications.
Yeah.
So it seems there is more than one way to lower the roof, leaving Melody and Jonathan with a lot to think about. In Somerset, Catherine is also taking the house swap very seriously.
You know, if I wasn't as big as I am, I think I'd jump on there as well.
They won't even know.
Well, I won't tell if you won't. The Dean children have been banned from the building site for health and safety reasons, but Mum and Dad have found a way of keeping in touch.
Hello, Christina.
Any ideas what we could use this extra room for? The one that I'd sort of forgotten existed, over.
Well, I could probably use it for sleepovers, over.
It's our bedroom.
Absolutely no way, teenager. I had 14 boyfriends. You won't get away with that one, sweetheart.
It wouldn't hurt for me to have another one, over.
What, another boyfriend, you mean?
Talking about rooms,
Sorry, Christina. It's my age. Over.
Shall we talk about boyfriends and bedrooms later? Because I think it's time for our swappers to check out the local area. And for Andy and Catherine, that includes a trip to the local wildlife park.
Look at that. What's that camel doing in there with the ostriches? I like the swan. It just sticks out like a sore thumb, doesn't it?
Andy seems to be developing a newfound love for wildlife.
What's that? Whoa. You want to give me a kiss? You want to give me a kiss? All the girls do that to me.
But will sloppy kisses from a tapir woo Andy into starting a new life in the country?
I've lived in the city for over 50 years, and I think the quiet life is more suitable to me now at this age that I find myself in.
Andy seems very happy in Somerset, but how will the Deans find the lifestyle in Hemel Hempstead? Time for some local know-how.
Do you know how long it would take to get to Bushy in the morning?
Depends
school
on
run?
the traffic. School run.
20 minutes, half an hour, I would have said, no more than that.
And is there anything to keep our musical troupe entertained?
Every 2 years, I believe, they have music on the moor, which is where they attract a lot of local musicians, schools, and they perform. It's open air, it's totally free, and it's a wonderful event. It's a really good family day out.
Yeah.
Close to the school and plenty to do as a family, the Hemel Hempstead house could be a perfect match. But are they brave enough?
So you're tempted to renovate?
No.
Oh, Daddy, be open-minded.
No, I mean, yeah, I can see the house would be...
You could see it has potential.
It has potential, Christina, that's right.
After exploring the village of South Peverton, Andy and Catherine visit the local for a nice, quiet drink. But it seems word has got out that Andy's in town.
Hello, hiya, and welcome to South Peverton.
It's the local welcoming committee.
I'm Dave Williams. I'm chairman of the local carnival club. Tim.
Hi, Tim.
He runs our local scouts.
Parish councillor.
Hi.
Looking after potholes.
OK, well, that's good enough.
I've done a list here, things that this village has, which quite a few villages don't. We have an antique shop, an art centre, bakers, comprehensive bus and lastly, alphabetically, a wet fish shop, which is a rarity.
Thank you for that.
Look forward to you joining our community.
Well, I thank you very much for coming. I'd like to say thank you to all of you.
Aren't they lovely? So as the one-day swap draws to a close, could a permanent swap be on the cards?
No, I thought I'd take one look and say,
Well, I'm more interested in the sense that, you know, it's only when you see it you get an idea of you know, the size, the location, the whole package.
For the kids' education, this is definitely an option.
Yeah.
It's just the roof that's not easy.
But, although that might be easy.
It might be.
The community here is brilliant. I mean, everybody's come in to welcome us, and even though they didn't know us, I thought that was fantastic.
It's kind of more chilled out here, more relaxed.
The location's cool.
Would you move out in so far away?
Yeah. I mean, I would, because it's only, as you know, it's only about 2.5 hours away with the car. That's not too much of a problem.
Having swapped homes and lifestyles for a day, there's a lot for everyone to consider. But will our families decide to make a permanent swap? It's time for negotiations to begin. Well, we've conducted our swap day, and it would seem that the building project is a bit of a hit with Jonathan and Melody. But could they really orchestrate its completion? That's what I'm asking you. Andy, on the other hand, became the heart of the community, meeting almost every single person in it. But will a day of scout leaders, parish councillors and a tapir make him want a permanent swap? Well, we have our own exotic creature to throw into the mix. Sunita, our negotiator, is ready to talk business. Sunita Shroff has been helping people find their dream properties and agree the best price for them for over 10 years. She'll be using her expertise to negotiate a deal for our swappers.
negotiating can be a tricky and even emotional process, and the properties won't necessarily be valued at the same price. So it's my job to get both sides to agree on a fair and realistic price to swap. But house swapping isn't all about the money. It's about avoiding that awful chain, potentially avoiding the estate agent's fees, and of course months of your property being on the market. So if both sides are prepared to negotiate, they could walk away with a great deal.
So let's remind ourselves of what Sunita has to bargain with. The Deans have the converted barn in Somerset valued at £445,000, plus the paddock worth £30,000. This musical family want to move closer to Bushy in Hertfordshire so the children can all attend the Purcell School of Music. Andy has the unfinished new build in Hemel Hempstead, valued at £425,000. Tired of negotiating with the council over planning problems with the roof, he's keen to get it off his hands and acquire a new property as an investment. So, first things first, what's the feedback?
Now, Melody and Jonathan, you picked the building site.
It was the only one that would potentially be practical for what we were intending in terms of the distance, but yes, the slight lack of completion was an interesting one.
Yeah. So we really hit the nail on the head, didn't we, with the location and the fact that it's a blank canvas.
And I'd want that anyway.
It's great
you know,
for you.
It was interesting the fact that it was obviously bigger than what we have seen on the market so far. One of the biggest issues for us is the practicing, because we need good soundproofing. So the fact that they've gone and put those solid walls everywhere, which is just, it's a huge expense and a major, major plus for us.
Now, what about cons?
Well,
lack of roof.
Lack of roof.
I thought
doing it all again.
Lack of floor, lack of plaster.
You went over to their property.
Yes, we did.
Which was down in Somerset.
Yeah.
And what did you think of that?
What did I think of that? I thought it was a very nice property. The layout worked. The front gardens were really nice. For me, only one of the rooms was a little bit of a problem where you had to go. It's intercommunicating from one bedroom to another. I think for me that would have to change or alter sooner or later.
But you can see the potential.
Yeah.
What would you be looking at this property for if you were to go?
Eventually,
go ahead?
for resale.
So as an investment, then.
Yeah.
So we'll put a little Andy magic on it and put it back on the market.
We'll put some magic on it. I don't know about handy magic.
One thing I want to find out is, what do you think the value of his property is? Let's say that planning permission's in place, you're happy with what needs to be done to the roof. What do you think the value of the property would be?
I wouldn't even like to imagine, because I just think it would be impossible. We're in the dark, and you can't make any negotiation in the dark like that, because we don't know whether you've got a £10,000 drain bill because there's no connection down to the main road yet on that property, whether there's issues with the electric, you know. It just, without that knowledge, you can be adding another 10,000, another 10,000.
Maybe we're not talking numbers here, which is fine, because actually house swapping isn't all about money and numbers. It's about placing a value on a home and what it means to you and then swapping it. So, okay, I've got a list of all your questions. I'm going to speak to Andy, see what stage we're at, and then come back with some answers.
So, state of play, we've been talking about money.
Well, actually, Christian, this is not all about the money. The price is secondary, because we can't actually discuss numbers and figures yet without knowing exactly what it entails.
Right.
How much building work needs to be done, how much this roof is going to cost.
There's too many question marks.
Too many.
Too many question marks.
Quick question about the driveway.
Yes.
Is that attached to your property, or does that belong to the neighbour's property?
No, it's shared. That's all in the deed.
Great. Nice big tick over the driveway box. Now, things like the drains, the electrics.
Yes.
What's going on there?
The drains are shared. They've already been laid. We laid electric, gas and water to the place, which cost an arm and a leg. Everything has been approved by the building control anyway, up to date. The only problem with the building, as I said to you, is the problem that we need to sort of get out. And the roof. It's not that we can't do it, it's just that it disheartened the whole project. And that's the problem, the disheartening. And if you don't do something with your heart, don't do it, in my opinion.
In today's negotiation, price is not in contention. The houses are fairly evenly matched in value, and both parties have equal need for each other's property. But there is one overriding concern, and that's the change of height required on the roof. It's time for Sunita to establish exactly what they'd be taking on.
I have spoken to the council. I've spoken to builders as well. Costings-wise, I've had a quote of 48,000 plus VAT.
It's a big bill, just for 18 inches where...
It would be to lower.
To lower the brickwork or to
Yes,
lower the
well, you'd have to lower the floor as well.
Yeah.
You certainly got to take off the whole of the second floor to lower, because all the windows and everything would be
metalwork and stuff
affected.
Yeah, metalwork will be
Quite
affected.
scary.
It's really not a big deal. I mean, the walls, all you've got to do is deduct 6 courses of brickwork.
But lowering the floor?
No floor. Nobody said anything about floor.
We've been on to the council a few times, and putting a new roof on isn't a completely simple job. It just doesn't feel that you need to go to extremes of lowering.
You would have to. There's
Definitely
absolutely
have to lower
no
the floor
head
up,
height.
otherwise I wouldn't be able to
There's no
stand
head
up.
height.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah, there's no head height. You can't possibly take that much off without lowering right the way through.
As a storm descends over the negotiation, we've reached a stalemate over how much work is required to change the height of the roof. Andy feels the eaves can simply be lowered, but the Deans are worried that it could be a much bigger and more expensive job. With so much at stake, can Sunita find a way to save the negotiations?
What would be the ideal way to get around this problem for you?
Just to flatten off the top.
Flatten off the roof. Okay.
Or change
So
the
how do we flatten off the top of the roof? We need to go to the council. So we really need to get back into negotiations with the council. That's where we're at. And I don't think he's going to get any further with the council at all. I think it would take a fresh person and new negotiations.
You know, I mean, for us, the roof really is the big issue, and the planning stalemate is a huge issue. So, I mean, if that could be resolved, I would be very interested in it as a swap property. But obviously, then there's that issue of the financial side.
As far as the figures go, I think with your property being on the market at 445, Andy's being on the market at 425, there's not a huge differential there. And of course, you've got the paddock you can throw in. So that will work itself out. I think from here, you need to think about negotiations with the planning department.
So, after 7 hours of tough negotiation, the swap hangs in the balance. Are the Deans prepared to take on negotiations with the council in order to get their dream family home? Or will the problem with the roof bring the deal tumbling down? It's decision time. So, Andy, Melody and Jonathan, it's been an interesting negotiation because it's uncharted territory, really, because we're trying to negotiate a swap between a finished house and a half-built house. So, to swap or not to swap is the question. Let's find out. Andy, in 3, 2, 1, swap! And then, guys, 3, 2, 1, it's another swap. It's 2 swaps. So, my brain is saying to me, though, unfinished house, you've got kids, what's the reality?
Well, we really need to address the planning issues, obviously.
OK.
And then take it from there. It's not really a problem that the house isn't actually finished because we've already found somewhere locally to rent.
Have you really?
We have.
They move fast, don't they? You're impressed. I'm really impressed. And Andy, you've kind of probably a bit drained by the whole house building experience and just want to move on, start afresh.
Yeah.
So, are we all happy?
Yeah, we are.
Marvellous, excellent. Then join me next time for hopefully what will be another house swap. What do you do when you want to move but you just can't sell your house? It's been on the market for months and all the viewings have dried up. Well, what you do is you stop selling and start swapping. House swapping is the latest trend to hit the property world. With around 10,000 properties registered with swap websites, it's a brilliant way to avoid the dreaded property chain and make that move onwards. We'll be meeting people who want to swap their home permanently.
That is so imposing. It's
ideal. Can't wait to have a look around.
And we'll show them 3 properties to find their perfect match.
Hi. Welcome to our house.
Come and have a look round.
We hope you've enjoyed our tour.
And we hope you pick us.
After a day spent road testing each other's properties and lifestyles, we'll bring them to the negotiating table where our straight-talking negotiator, Sunita, will help them thrash out a deal.
You're getting what you want, she's getting what she wants, and it all seems to tie in really well.
Before we find out if they'll swap homes for good. Hello and welcome to the gorgeous Newquay in Cornwall. Will you take a look at this? For a family that lives here, the tides have certainly changed as they're wanting to relocate up to the Midlands. Well, trust me, we've surfed high and low to find them the perfect house swap. Anthony and Emma Brewer have lived in Cornwall for the last 5 years, but with the arrival of their 2 children, Tommy and Joanna are looking to move back to the Midlands to be closer to their parents. They're hoping to swap this Cornish cottage for a country retreat near Shrewsbury. Together, they've set up an internet company selling ecological products and are now looking to wave goodbye to this idyllic seaside life. Well, here I am at Anthony and Emma's house, and I'm already enchanted, and I think it has something to do with the rather special location, because unfolding in front of me are these beautiful emerald green hills spreading all the way across right up to the flock of sheep on the top of that one over there. And then behind me is the property itself, tucked away behind the pampas grass. Now, which bell do I ring to get in? Do I ring that one or this one? It's 2 game show, isn't it? I like this one. Yes. In I go. Now, I don't want you thinking that I'm lazy, but I am quite a big fan of the low-maintenance garden, and I think that's exactly what we've got here. It's quite tropical looking, quite windswept and exotic. Ta-da! I told you it'd make a big entrance. OK, so the kitchen, quite an unconventional space for 2 reasons. One, it's a very unusual shape because it kind of narrows up towards that end. And secondly, it's on 2 levels, so some of your kitchen is up there and the rest of your kitchen is down here. However, having said that, it is full of charm, full of character, and you instantly feel like you're at home here and you just kind of want to hang out. So, well, I'm sure nobody would mind if I helped myself to a freshly brewed coffee now, would they? Excellent, marvellous. Well, I won't tell if you won't tell, and I'll make you one in a minute. Moving on. Oh, my goodness me. I wasn't prepared for this, but ladies and gentlemen, what I think we're dealing with here is quite a severe case of contemporary cottage chic, and I think it's handling it very, very well indeed. I like the fact the beams are painted in these light, neutral tones, rather than having a ribcage of darkness straddling your living quarters. Over here, we've got a great big log burner, big plasma screen, loads of space everywhere, this solid, very light-coloured parquet flooring. And then over here, if you happen by chance to live with a pony or a horse, this door is absolutely perfect. Of course, what's nice about a house like this, it's grown through time. It wasn't designed one rainy afternoon by a corporate architect who was making sure all the lines are straight. But through all its quirks, it has a kind of imperfect perfection, and therefore it has character. There's a guest bedroom cum study, and this playful bedroom currently occupied by Tommy and Joanna. Now, the master bedroom, what do we think of this? Well, well, again, it's a very, very simple style. There's no delusions of grandeur in here at all. But having said that, when you push your bed right up against the window like this, who needs pretentious decor when you can wake up with that view? This 3-bedroom Cornish cottage has been valued at £345,000. So, Emma and Anthony, beautiful house, amazing location. Why are you heading back?
We've had 2 small children, which you've seen, and you start to realise just how much you need grandparents around.
So you're going back for some free babysitting in the Midlands. Which parts do we like?
We fell in love with Shrewsbury when we were there recently, but what we don't want to be is too close to a big city.
OK.
Or too close to the family.
Or too close to the family.
Or too close.
That's a very honest answer. OK, so moving forward, what is it you're after? What would you really, really like?
As I say, 2 big rooms, 1 big kitchen, 1 big living room, that's enough for me. I don't want big houses, I don't want the maintenance, I want to spend the time with the children.
And a bit more land to have chickens, to grow vegetables, and for children to run around.
What value of property are you looking for?
Anything between 250 and we can go up to about 400.
Is there anything else that you can maybe throw into the swap equation?
Yeah, we have another property in the Midlands, which again is up for sale. It's rented out quite comfortably, but we're willing to make a swap on that one as well.
Okay, this is the exciting bit. Do you want to see some houses?
Yes.
You ready for it?
Love to.
Let's do it. Are you excited about this?
Very.
Very. Good, because I am taking you first of all to the Shropshire, Herefordshire borders, and I'm going to show you a beautiful timber frame building, Tudor-esque in style and look, but it's only 10 years old. And you're about to meet a lovely lady called Jane who's going to show us around.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Jane. Welcome to my home in the Shropshire, Herefordshire borders. Here's some of the character for starters. Come and have a look round with me. First of all, you come into the hallway, which, as you can see, is one of the main features of the house. It was built between 1995 and 1996, so it looks old, but in fact has got all the conveniences that you would want in a modern house. Here we have the lounge with the wood-burning stove and the oak floors. And now come on through into the kitchen. It's all individually made oak cupboards. Absolutely everything in them, so great space use. And here we are in the main bedroom. I think this must be one of my favourite places to actually sit in bed here, because you have fabulous views for the back. There's a lovely shot of the garden and the orchard. And here we come to the bathroom, which, as you can see, is a lovely, restful shade of blue. This is another peaceful room, which I actually use as an office at the moment. This bedroom is about the same size as this one here. Through here is the annex. And I've got a tenant in here who's on a short-term lease, so that's useful rental income for anybody who wants that. And upstairs, there's a bedroom. And from up here, you can really see the extent of the land. The house is currently on the market at $499,950.
Jane's 3-bed Shropshire house with an extra annex also comes with over 2 acres of land. So what would she like to swap to?
I'd really like to move to a smaller place where it's a bit more manageable for me on my own, somewhere where I can start my new life.
Thank you, Jane. What a wonderful woman.
She was
Isn't she a lovely woman?
She was a good presenter.
Yeah, she was great, wasn't she? First up, what do we think of it?
Beautiful.
It is. It's lovely. It's beautiful.
Yeah. It's got the huge land that you wanted. It's got the views, space to grow your own veggies and have your hens and, I don't know.
Love the surrounding area. The location, where it is in proximity to parents, is easy.
I make my mind up pretty quickly. I see it and I have it. It don't take long for me to make my mind up.
We like the house. We like the look of the house.
I think the price would be something that would have to be hammered out at some point.
And obviously there's the opportunity of a rental income from...
well, that's a very, very important point. We're now off towards Peterbrra. We are going to go and meet Gilly and Michael. Now, they are quite proper. I think they're quite proper. So can you stop slouching? Sit up. Sit up
Just
properly
down that street,
as I introduce you to their lovely, lovely home.
Hello there, I'm Jilly and this is my partner Michael. We'd like to introduce you to our beautiful 6-bedroom detached house here in Barnet.
Come on in, let's show you around.
Come through.
Am I going to show them the kitchen now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm the Gordon Ramsay of the family, but I don't swear as often as he does. Lovely 6-burner range, double oven, and go through from here, and we've got a lovely big utility room, and into the garage, and off the garage is my office. When the fruits of my labours slaving in the kitchen have been prepared, we come through and put them down on the dining table. We can seat 8 comfortably and 10 in at a squeeze, but what can I say about a dining room?
That's negative, no.
Oh.
No, it's a table for 12 and we seat 12. We've got two leaves.
All right.
Which isn't a squeeze.
Jilly's going to show you the sitting room.
In here, can you imagine the amount of entertaining we can do? We've got some fairly large pieces of furniture, but there's oodles of space. And the delight for me is leading off the sitting room is this beautiful conservatory. It really is our very, very favourite spot.
Unusually, because the house divides at this half landing, we've got an east wing, which I'm going to show you, and a west wing, which I'll let Jilly show you in a moment. We have a bedroom here, another bedroom, and this one is the room that we're using as a sort of relaxing second sitting room.
Now I'd like to show you the 2 newer bedrooms on this floor. There is the front bedroom, which has an ensuite shower room, and this, our own room, the master suite. And then we lead through into the ensuite shower room and bathroom. And this leads on to terrace or balcony. It's where we enjoy
It's the
eating.
balcony, Juliet. Yeah, and I'm your Romeo.
This garden is beautiful and it is so peaceful out here. We certainly expected to be here for many, many years to come, but if an opportunity presents itself, it would be a sheer joy to strike out and do something quite different. This house is currently valued at £495,000.
Jilly and Michael's Peterbrra home has 6 bedrooms, 2 en suite, and a balcony off the main bedroom. So what are they looking for from a swap?
We're looking to either do a straight swap or possibly to find something that is valued for a little bit less money, maybe 350 or so, and it could be anywhere. I'm really hoping that our next venture is going to be a property which has charm, attractiveness and some quirky little features, something older, like me.
Do you know what? After watching that, I don't want to have afternoon tea with the Queen. I want to have afternoon tea with Jilly.
I know.
But it should be posh. Too posh, I feel.
It's a beautiful house, but
Yeah.
it just seems so immaculate and
We don't like immaculate.
posh, and with 2 dogs and 2 children running around that, I think it would get wrecked. We'll keep an open mind until the end, though.
OK, now a complete gear change. We're heading towards one of your favourite locations, beginning with S.
Shrewsbury.
Indeed, a village very near there. Beautiful period property, full of charm, full of character. I don't know if you're going to like this. It used to be an ale house.
Right.
And you're going to meet Heather.
Right.
And she's going to show us her house.
OK.
Hello, I'm Heather, and this is my beautiful cottage in Shropshire, and I'm going to show you around today. This is my old key to fit a very old door. This was an ale house in the 17th century. People used to come here and have their ale, and it's got a nice single nook fireplace, and I love it because of the cosiness. This is the room that my son and I use the most, I suppose. We sit here and watch television, mainly car programmes, if he's got anything to do with it. This room's lovely and cosy, especially in the winter, but also in the summer it's lovely. And this is the dining room where I have lots of dinner parties. I like cooking traditional food from the local farm shops. The kitchen is right next door. Through here. In here there's more space. I've had dishwasher, tumble dryer, washing machine put behind these cupboards. There's 3 good-sized bedrooms. This one is the main bedroom, but I actually use this for my guests. And then there are these original oak floorboards. You can't get any like these today. This is my son Ben's room. He spends a lot of time in here, and it'd be a nice room for any child, really. This is my bedroom. I love it because it is so lovely and bright all the time, and I've got lovely views over the fields. And this is my lovely back garden. It's easy to manage. Lots of shrubs, so you don't have to do too much gardening. And the sun is on it all day. It's south-facing. Shropshire is a lovely county. I enjoy living here. It's very friendly, and the countryside is just gorgeous. I've had some valuations done a while ago now, and they were all at 325,000. But due to the market now, I think it's far better to put a reasonable price, so I put it on for 285,000.
Heather's Shrewsbury Ale House has 3 bedrooms, fabulous views and a detached garage. So what is her ideal swap?
I'm thinking of moving because I would like to buy somewhere that's slightly larger, so that I can have a spare room where I can maybe let it out or do bed and breakfast. Cornwall sounds quite nice because it's, you know, bed and breakfast would do very well down there, I think.
Right, so there we go. Honest opinions, once again.
Too small.
Really?
Yeah, loads of small rooms.
There's a lot of positive sides of it. I like the walled garden in the back.
Mm-hmm.
I like where it is.
OK, because it's Shrewsbury.
Because it's
That was
Shrewsbury,
your favourite location. What you need to do now is have a little chat and work out which one maybe you'd like to see in the flesh. I'm not going to sit here and cramp your style. I am going to take my folder and my cup of tea out into the garden, and I'll see you shortly.
OK.
All right? Right, now what was interesting about that, when we were looking at those properties, they kind of seemed to really like the first one, went a little bit tepid on the second, and then really cooled off on the third. So I have a feeling which one they're going to go for, but you can never be 100% sure. So I don't want to rush straight back in there. I'm going to give them a little bit of time to think about it. In the meantime, to occupy myself, will count the sheep in that field. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Whilst the brewers weigh up the pros and cons...
That's an option we can always look at. So the price isn't so scary then.
That's right.
Sunita, our house swap negotiator, has some advice. Sunita's been a property negotiator for over 10 years, helping hundreds of clients move onwards and upwards.
If you want to move house quickly, then house swapping could be the answer. Now, there are several websites out there that could help you find your perfect match. You will, of course, still have to have a HIPS report, and you will be paying stamp duty. But, crucially, you get to avoid a chain, and if you're not on with an estate agent, you avoid estate agent fees.
Sunita's invaluable knowledge will help our swappers negotiate a deal. But first, we need to find out who the brewers have decided to swap with. Right, turning this back into a trio. I'm going to ask it straight out. Which one?
I think it's going to be the first one.
Really? OK, let me see if I can be surprised. I'm not surprised in the slightest. The brewers have gone with Jane's 3-bed house with annex and over 2 acres of land. It's time for the one-day house swap. Emma and Anthony are off to the West Midlands, nearer their family. While Jane heads to Newquay in Cornwall to see if her new start might be by the sea. But unlike a quick whiz round with an estate agent, they have the chance to exchange lifestyles for the day before deciding if a permanent swap is on the cards. Trained as a complementary therapist, Jane can move anywhere and is ready for a new adventure. But what will she make of Newquay? Situated on the north coast of Cornwall, it has a lot to offer, with its stunning coast and the most famous surf beach in Britain.
Oh, wow. This is actually bigger than it looks from the outside. Palm trees, fantastic. Oh, it's great. Must be a sign. I'm colour coordinated with the front door. Oh, wow. Now, this isn't what I expected from outside. This is great, because there's space here downstairs. Oh, the wood burner. Brilliant. This is really lovely. Right down the steps. So, utility type area there in the sink. And I love the openness there. And what a view out there.
And there is more to be pleased about upstairs.
Oh, this looks interesting. Oh, what a lovely big bedroom. I like the colour as well. And what a view. This would be my bedroom, definitely.
So Jane is loving Cornwall, but what will Emma and Anthony make of the Shropshire house? A much more civilised 1.5 hour drive from family, it might be just the right location.
It's a lot nicer than it looks on film.
We said we wanted remote.
Okay.
Okay. Wow, the window there.
It's a lot bigger, isn't it, in real life? It is amazing, isn't it, the wood?
That is it's so imposing. It's
Ideal. It's ideal. Can't wait to look around.
Oh, that's unusual, isn't it?
Very. It's Alice in Wonderland, isn't it?
It's nice, isn't it?
It's a clever little kitchen.
Oh, a little letter for us. Teas and coffee are in the left-hand larder cupboard. And she's told us where the mugs are. Oh, so we need to top up the feeder at the front so we can get birds. Enjoy, Jane. What do you think?
It'd make a better living room.
Do you think so?
Definitely.
But this is a nice snug area anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'd probably do more of your living in here, wouldn't you? Should we put the kettle on? She's told us where all the tea bags are and everything.
Yeah.
Do you know, I feel so guilty I've not left her any tea or any milk out. Sort of hosts the weird.
You have left her some milk, haven't you?
No.
You threw it?
Yeah.
Well, being Cornwall, I'm sure Jane can milk a cow, or...
Ooh! A glass of wine, overlooking the palm trees, lovely garden. Ooh, a space for my new man. Cheers.
Jane, I'll be right over. It looks like you've got it all planned out. Meanwhile, in Shropshire, Anthony and Emma are still on their house tour.
Nice big room, though, isn't it? Eh?
It's beautiful, it really is. I think the height of it makes the room seem smaller enough anyway, but it's a huge room, it's lovely,
Yeah.
Beautiful. She said she was very interested in spiritualism. Huge amount of books, my goodness me, it's a whole library of books on...
Bobby Robson there.
Where?
Yeah.
There's no Jackie Collins.
After a bit of snooping, our potential swappers inspect the grounds with plans to grow veg and have chickens. It could be all important.
Wow. That just puts a completely different perspective on it.
The house looks terrific from here.
It does, doesn't it? The view is just more than I thought it was going to be.
There's loads and loads of space for dogs, I suppose, isn't there? Eh?
I think we need more family. There's too much space here for us.
Steady on, Emma.
You could have a horse here.
Why would you want a horse, Anth? We're not interested in horse.
Aren't you?
Never been on a horse. Why would I want to use all of this land up on a horse?
It was just a suggestion.
Do you like it?
I do.
Wouldn't it be amazing if she did fall in love with the house and just wanted it? Eh?
Would be, wouldn't it?
Well, Jane's already in love with the house. Now let's see if she'll fall for the area too, and what better way to see Newquay than by boat.
Mystique. Sounds like a new perfume. Would that be a fishy smelling one?
Yeah, buy your friends a bottle, otherwise they'll think you're shellfish.
I feel like Kate Winslet in reverse. I'm going in the opposite direction.
Well, Jane, like Kate Winslet, you're looking very windswept and exotic.
Although I've never lived by the sea before, I could really imagine myself here.
And she's already got herself a new job, at the helm of the boat.
And you keep heading back to the harbour there, straight in front.
Fantastic. Yeah, turn the wheel. I'm going in totally the wrong direction now. And we're going back to the harbour over there, over there. I could get used to this. It's very relaxing, actually, isn't it?
You just
a seal!
There's a seal there.
Oh, wow! Hello there. Gosh, another thing to make my day.
Look like that sealed the deal. Meanwhile, in Shropshire, Emma and Anthony have discovered the annex.
Oh. When I thought annex, I just thought, well, that's a nice ideal place where I can just stick my office and have some stock, but you couldn't use this for that. You'd have to use it as some sort of an income, wouldn't you? Do you want to look upstairs? Yeah. Beautiful. Oh, look at those views.
That's nice, isn't it?
It is.
Tommy and Joe fight over this room, wouldn't they?
We'll have to have a look and see how much income can be gained from this, because the price of the house was more than we thought it was going to be, so this would make a difference, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would soften the blow.
It would soften the blow.
On a mission to find out more about a potential income from the annex, they're off to meet Neil, a friend of Jane's who works at a local hotel.
Neil, what do you think of the potential of renting Jane's annex out? Would it be a viable income?
Yeah, you should be able to. And you could even possibly link with us here.
Right.
To get any overfill from what we have, because there's not much other accommodation in the area.
Really? Oh, right, that's interesting.
And while the brewers have been checking out rental prices, it turns out Jane has been checking out the local men.
The waiting's quite nice. A bit young, though, for me. The view is stunning. The sun's out. This is the life.
200 miles away, Emma and Anthony have made it to the nearest town, picturesque and medieval Ludlow. Being a market and fair trade town, it would seem churlish not to sample some of the goods.
So we've got about 120, 130 varieties of cheeses normally. Local Ludlow is a very, very good area for fresh produce.
So it's not just the local cheese, there's lots of local vegetables and meats and...
Ludlow's got the envious name of being one of the food centres, even used to be better than London.
Oh, right.
At one stage. We had 3 Michelin star restaurants for a start off, all buying local produce. Whatever you want in Ludlow, you can get it.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Enjoy your stay. Thank you.
With the briny breeze in our hair and cheese in our tummy, the one-day swap is almost over. Time for contemplation.
It's got all the rooms that I could want to have. I like the way it was done out, and yes, there's potential there, certainly.
Countryside and the views and the hills are absolutely stunning, aren't they? They really are.
We obviously like this house, but negotiations need to be done.
But we do get caught up really quickly, don't we?
We do get caught up a little bit.
Our hearts rule our heads, so...
Well, they've put their hearts in each other's homes, but will our swappers swap for good? Time to use their heads. Well, our swappers have had a chance to experience their new lifestyles. Have Emma and Anthony really found their dream home in the Midlands? And did Jane really find a new home, boyfriend and job in just one single day? Well, it rather looks like it, doesn't it? But to find out for sure, we have our silver-tongued negotiator on standby to eke out the truth and help bring a deal to the table. Cue Sunita. Sunita Shroff has been helping people find their dream properties and agree the best price for them for over 10 years. She'll be using her expertise to negotiate a deal for our swappers.
Negotiating can be a tricky and even emotional process, and the properties won't necessarily be valued at the same price. So it's my job to get both sides to agree on a fair and realistic price to swap. But House swapping isn't all about the money. It's about avoiding that awful chain, potentially avoiding the estate agent's fees, and of course months of your property being on the market. So if both sides are prepared to negotiate, they could walk away with a great deal.
Let's remind ourselves of what Sunita has to bargain with. Emma and Anthony have the 3-bed Cornish cottage valued at £345,000. But they also have the property in Birmingham, which they could use to extend their budget. This has been valued at £230,000. They're looking to move to a larger property with a bit of land closer to the family back up in the Midlands. Jane has the 3-bed detached house with the extra annex set in over 2 acres of land. Her home has been valued at just under £500,000. She's looking for a new adventure, and as a complimentary therapist, could Newquay be just the town for her new start? Now, first things first, what's the feedback?
Cornwall wasn't one of your chosen areas, was it?
I've never been particularly drawn to the coast or the sea before. I mean, I've liked it. I've gone for days and holidays there, but I've never really thought about living by the coast. And so I was just blown away, really.
What about the property? Let's talk about the property.
That was another surprise when I walked through the door and it was all open and I thought, that's rather nice. You know, on heart and soul level, I really felt like I belonged.
Now, you were looking to move back to the Midlands, so we found you something on the Shropshire-Herefordshire border, and it was somewhere that you hadn't been before, and you loved it.
I think when we were travelling there, it was just nice house after nice house and nice little village, and it just kept going on, and so yeah, we were impressed.
Don't think we went past a bad one, did we?
We were quite open about where we wanted to be because we work from home. We've got no ties to anywhere. We just wanted to be closer to the Midlands, that was all.
Now, what about the property? Tell me about that, what you thought of it.
Very imposing, it's beautiful. As soon as we saw it, you can't fault it.
Very nice from the outside. If you could take a few walls down, it'd be ideal.
Yeah.
One big open plan room downstairs, fine.
That was the main thing. You walk in and separate to everything else is the living room.
Well, you could knock that wall down.
You could?
Yes, and I've spoken to a builder.
Have you really?
Yes.
That's right, isn't it?
So it is possible, and it's not expensive either. It's about £800 to £1,000.
Is that all?
Yeah. Wow. Now, what do you think Emma and Anthony's Cornwall property is worth?
I was 345,000. That was a bit more than I was looking to pay.
In your opinion, what would you be prepared to swap at?
I would really be looking at the sort of 300 mark.
With all valuations, I generally tend to think that they are slightly overvalued, and realistically, if you knock 10% off both, that would be an achievable figure.
Sure.
But if we took their property down by 10%, down to 310,000...
Yes.
We took your property, which is on the market at 500,000, down to 450,000, that would then mean that there's a spread of £140,000. How would you feel about that?
I'd have to weigh that up.
After some hard talking, Sunita has suggested that a fair price to swap would be the brewer's house plus £140,000 for Jane's property.
What do you think her property is worth?
We wanted to stick to our budget of 400,000.
You ideally don't want to spend more than 400,000. The property's on the market at 500,000. So that is a £100,000 drop. That's 20%. Substantial amount to drop.
I'm not saying the house is worth 400,000.
No, yeah, exactly.
I'm not knocking the lady's house. It's just that.
Yeah, it's our personal budget and circumstances. We're setting ourselves up for a huge amount of exposure financially.
What would you propose?
Well, if we were saying that about this, the 400,000, which is what the figure that we had in mind for whatever property, we would be stretching ourselves basically another 50, 60,000, and that's what we can cover ourselves in easily, and that's fine.
So you're saying the spread would be, let's say, 60,000. Your property plus 60,000 for her property.
Emma and Anthony are reluctant to stretch their budget. Rather than going with Sunita's suggested spread of £140,000, they have started the bidding at just £60,000. But what will Jane make of this rather cheeky offer?
No.
No. Well, they feel that if it were on at 400,000, they would snatch it tomorrow, as I'm sure a lot of people would.
It's not my problem that they can't afford my house. At the moment, I do have a rental income from the annex, which is obviously useful towards the mortgage.
So maybe the annex could be the key to saving this deal.
The only other option is obviously an income from the annex.
Well, on a long let, that would be £450 a month. On a short let, I think you'd get £350 a week.
We're talking, say, 12 weeks maximum.
Yeah.
So that's another 3,500, 4,000 a year, which works out roughly the same as a long let. And that would probably cover the additions on the mortgage. I'll think about this.
OK. Leave you to think about it anyway.
The brewers need to work out if they can afford to up their offer on the basis that the increased mortgage payments will be offset by the money raised by renting out the annex. It's definitely a high-risk option, but it could be worth it if they really want Jane's house.
We'd be doubling a mortgage, which is not something we wanted to do. I think that would be a little bit too scary to stretch that far.
It's 4 hours in and we've got nowhere. But Sunita isn't giving up on this negotiation.
In this instance, for this house swap, they're both really compatible.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting what you want, she's getting what she wants, and it all seems to tie in really well. The only problem, obviously, is the money. But what about bringing the other property into it? So your property and the little one up in Birmingham.
I can't say yes, definitely at the minute, so I worked out some numbers in my head.
Do you want to think about it? Why don't you have a little think about it? I'll even get you a calculator.
Sunita has suggested that the brewers throw their second property into the swap. The combined value of the two properties is £575,000. This would mean that Jane would get two properties, but would then have to pay the brewers.
Right, Jane, there's something new on the table here. The straight swap really wasn't going to work, but they've got two properties.
OK.
They've got their property in Cornwall and they've got their property in Birmingham. It's currently being rented out for £750 per month, and if you want, it has got a tenant for the next 2 years. So that's guaranteed income.
OK.
How does that sound?
I was looking to be downsizing, so not to be adding more to my commitments. However, if rental income from one or other of the properties meant that overall the figure was affordable, then I would have a look at it. Let me weigh it up.
I've suggested that Emma and Anthony, who have another property in Birmingham, throw that into the mix so they've got two properties for Jane's one.
OK, so it's a 2-for-1 deal being the operative word. But it's a lot to think about, isn't it?
It is, and I've left them thinking.
OK, well, don't leave them thinking too long. So the 2-for-1 offer hasn't been rejected, but we need to work out how much the brewers think Jane should pay.
What sort of figure would you go up to?
OK. Shall I run through the figures?
Go for it.
If you're still looking at two properties...
For one,
I would want that figure to be nearer to £125,000.
You'd go with the 2-for-1 swap, but Jane's got to pay you £125,000.
We didn't want to do that for a house unless it was spot on perfect. That second property is our nest egg.
The brewers like Jane's house enough to consider throwing in their retirement fund. They've offered the two properties for Jane's one, but they would also like £125,000 on top, which is £50,000 above the valuations.
How come they're asking me to pay more for the two properties?
It's their pension, really. So it's worth so much more to them.
Yes.
So that's why it would have to be a lot more equity to make it palatable.
Well, the option of paying 125,000 is a definite no.
How much do you think you would be prepared to pay for their two properties?
It's obviously subject to mortgage and valuations and all of that, but maybe looking at 100,000. Just, I need to have another look at the figures.
So, to the two properties for your one property, with you paying 100,000, is that something I can put on the table?
Yes.
It's taken a mammoth 8 hours of negotiations, but we finally have a deal on the table. Jane's property plus £100,000 for the brewer's two properties. But is everyone prepared to swap? It's decision time. Well, there we have it. There is a potential deal on the table as far as I understand. You are holding large golden keys. They could unlock the key to new futures. We're about to find out. So, please, Emma, swap or not, turn it over. It's a green. We've got half a deal. Over here we've got... I'm not speaking to you anymore. Why have we got a red key here?
I'm at that stage where I'm looking to reduce my commitments and responsibilities, not add to them.
Your green key. You obviously like the house a lot and we're wanting that deal to work.
We compromised and tried to negotiate as well, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's not quite
It's not
there.
to be. Not to be. Do you think, Anthony, there's any pathos we can leave with today?
Oh, loads.
Good? Loads?
Looking at the financial side of things, we just sort of resigned ourselves to the fact that it wasn't going to happen.
Never thought about Cornwall, absolutely adored it, fell in love with it. Would definitely look at that area.
So close and yet so far. If you can handle more drama and more tension, then join me next time for another house swap.